It is can be quite a vulnerable place to be when we're walking with someone like Persephone and exploring what embracing our vulnerability and our perceived mistakes in our life, how those things can really be what is guiding us into our power, and that those things can actually be our strength, be our power, our weakness, our wrongs, our mistakes, our fears. And there's also, I think, with Persephone, a call to look at where we are waiting for the universe to push us into something, and where we are ready to move ourselves into something different and something new. So there are many ways that we can look at the mythology of Persephone and the story of Persephone, the story of Demeter and Persephone, of Hades and Persephone, and of what it means to be core or maiden. And this is why in the lunar series, which I have stepped back from for quite some time, and we'll see if this video makes it to the channel or not when the time's right. But when we are talking about the new moon, we're working with Persephone for me sometimes. Sometimes we might work with Artemis or Athena, and that's a different story. But when it's Persephone, there is a rawness to the cycle because we are exploring our vulnerability. And we can look at, again, this mythology of Persephone as either being ripped from Mother, from Demeter, and what is that story like if our story involves a raping, right, by Hades, a ripping from the mother before we're ready? Or does our mythology of Persephone shift from more of a patriarchal view to a looking at what it's like to step into your power through the exploration of darkness, right? It's like, it can be like the ultimate shadow work. And for me, Persephone brings with her, yes, a woundedness, and so we do examine that in this aspect of the new moon cycle, but also a very powerful awareness of the vulnerability and looking at it, starting to step into it as strength, and also an ability to look at in others shadow pieces and see the soul light underneath that still shines anyhow. So we can choose to look at the story with Hades as a raping and a pillaging and a taking, or we can explore that myth as Persephone dancing with Hades, and what is it that she learns about him and learns to love about him and learns to love about the darkness that she continues to spend that time each year in the darkness, right? So for me, even though I work with Persephone during the new moon, she does hold that in between space of the dark moon and the new moon together, which I think is really beautiful. And when she shows up, it's a very fluid, watery space, as we would expect with the moon. And it's also a looking at the stories. What stories am I trapped in? How can I look at myself differently? How can I love myself in this situation? How can I love someone else in this situation? How can I offer my love? And how can I express myself, the beauty in this maiden aspect of myself and the beauty of the dying aspects of myself, right? So what is being ripped from me? What am I not letting go of enough to release it freely? What am I afraid to step into? What is it time to step into? So there's a lot of layers with Persephone, and really we are talking about a willingness to get to know ourselves in this maiden aspect of the new moon. So really looking at the moon and her cycles in this three-face self of maiden, mother, crone. With Persephone, we're exploring what it's like to be maiden and also be in that aspect of maiden that is partly crone and partly mother. So an exploration of what is my truest identity of myself as mother. How do I start to step into that in this cycle? And then as crone Persephone, how do I honor, acknowledge, work with, and heal my shadow side? What is the wisdom within the shadow? Why am I choosing to stay in darkness? Why am I releasing darkness? There's a lot of power in exploring this. And so this is something, if you're feeling this rawness and this vulnerability, and you're feeling called to explore Persephone, then it's really a time to step into exploring yourself, right? And so I would encourage journaling really around aspects of parts of yourself that you run away from, but also looking at where is my wisdom in this moment that I'm not giving myself credit for? Where is the depth in all of this for me to explore? There's a lot of power in exploring our wounds in a way that empowers us, not in a way that perpetuates a victim story. So any journaling around that is going to be really a large part of working with Persephone, and anything that feels like that watery flow of the in-between. What does it feel like to be in the in-between? Where is the lesson in the in-between? Who am I really? Powerful journaling prompts with Persephone, and time spent in meditation with Persephone as well is really an essential part of the cycle. Yeah. So thank you for spending this space in the lunar cycle series, looking at the moon in her many facets and what she mirrors back to us through deity as well, and how we connect to her through deity and with deity. It's a beautiful thing.